Don't be afraid of long distance.
I feel like long distance has this
Stigma
around it, but it 100% can work.
Yeah.
And does work. It's just... Hey guys! All right, so...
Today is June 24th, which is...
a special day for us.
Yeah, significant day for Chanel and I. Because 2 years ago today is the day that I kissed Chanel for the first time. And the day that we started going out.
And then 1 year ago today, Donovan got home from Belize for good. And so for today, we are going to do another segment in...
Late Night Chats with Cash and Dash.
Yeah.
This is Cash. I'm Dash. Chanel Ash, Donovan Ash. In case you didn't get it. Gotta explain.
But we were just going over kind of our time doing long distance.
And that just got us talking about how we handled it.
The do's and don'ts that we kind of did, and we wanted to share them with you guys for general relationships or definitely for long distance relationships, because I wish I kind of knew some things going into it.
Okay, let's start it off with do number one. This is something that we did pretty well. It is do send each other gifts. So I, being the romantic guy that I am.
Oh my word.
I sent Chanel flowers a couple times.
Yeah. The first time he sent me flowers, he sent a little card and it said, "Just because I love you."
Yeah. Send flowers and gifts for no reason. I think we should add that.
Yeah, it's true. Not just for like...
birthdays or whatever.
Yeah. Not all the time is necessary, but you know, just every once in a while. Just a nice little reminder, you know?
Our first don't is don't go to bed angry.
Mm-hmm. I think this one is really, really important in a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
And or in our marriage. I mean, for somebody like me, I need a little bit more time to process things. So...
it's hard.
It is a little bit harder, but I think to not go to bed like extremely where like...
she's gonna rip my head off in my sleep.
Okay, I've literally never wanted to rip your head off. But, you know... oh my word. If we can't get over something, that we will stay up until 2 a.m. in the morning talking about things.
And if you're long distance, it's even more because you're not there to like comfort each other or to have that conversation. So if you're trying to do it over text or whatever, like it can be really hard. You might be reading into stuff you shouldn't be.
Yeah, so. And plus it's also hard to read each other over long distance, especially through texting and stuff. It's way harder to understand what somebody is like actually meaning when you're not together. And plus it's also easier to hide when you're doing long distance that you're not okay, because you can easily just text them and be like, yeah, good night, love you. But really you're sitting there you're sitting there super upset. Yeah. And
it just allows like bitterness to grow in between you and your spouse or your girlfriend or your fiance or whatever, right? Our next point is a double header. It's a do and a don't. So the do side of it is do FaceTime or Skype or talk on the phone regularly.
But then the other side of that, for a don't, which we were really bad at, is to not FaceTime too much. Yeah. Because we literally FaceTimed every single day for hours. Like every single chance we got, every free time we had, it was spent FaceTiming each other, which isn't necessarily bad, but we were just very dependent on each other, and we just...
It got to the point of us doing long distance towards the end of my time in Belize. It was just like, you just keep saying, like, I can't wait to see you. And that's like all you can talk about. So there's like no point in being on FaceTime anyway, because you're just like... sitting there for hours like, oh my gosh, we're almost there.
But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense, just to like find a balance between the two, because it is super important to be in each other's lives even though you're not in each other's lives, but also to lead your own life and kind of be present, which can lead us to another one.
Basically, we were saying like our another don't is to not live in the future, but to live in the moment. So like we were saying earlier, towards the end of my time in Belize, we would just be FaceTiming and talking and be like, I can't wait till this is over. And we're already basically living in the future of me being home, right? We're just talking about that, thinking about that. And so you spend your whole day like waiting to get home, but you miss out on what's happening in that moment. So I think that's a really big thing. Don't miss out on stuff where you are just because you're missing people at home.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have that boundary set.
It also will help kind of distract you. We both know that it's super hard. Even in our vows, I wrote, like, I will never forget what it felt like having half my heart in a different country.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take away, it doesn't take away, like, how much it sucks and how much it hurts.
Yeah.
But when you're not just, like, constantly always talking to each other, and you spend time, it actually, like, takes away and is a bit of a distraction, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's healthy. All that.
You gotta have other relationships outside of just you two.
Yeah.
Right? Our next point is to write letters. This is really awesome because it like creates a time capsule. So you get to write like somebody a letter and actually put it in the mail, send it snail mail, and then they'll get a physical letter, which is like so cool these days, right? Like how often do you get a handwritten letter?
Yeah, that was literally my favorite part, is because we did send each other letters, and so we like still have them, and I love reading back on them and being like, wow, that feels like forever ago. But it's just such a like a cool little gift that you'll always have. It is romantic and it's cute and okay.
That's so cool. The next point is a don't, and it is to not have one-on-one time with a member of the opposite sex. So if I'm in Belize and Chanel's back home in Sunshine Coast, like was our situation, I shouldn't be like having one-on-one time or like going out for dinner or walking on the beach with a girl.
Romantic walks along the beach.
Or just any like one-on-one time. Like,
yeah.
It's not good to put yourself in that situation, and it's not good to put your significant other in that situation either.
And I know that some people might think that that's like unnecessary and a little bit like, too harsh. But for us, we were on the same page with that, and we just wanted to be overcautious, if that makes sense. We wanted to
protect our relationship.
Because why put yourself in that position where
Chanel's super hot, guys are gonna fall in love with her. It's just something that happens.
Please stop. The amount of times that you hear stories where stuff does happen and ruin relationships is because
somebody wasn't protecting the relationship and somebody was able to get in there.
Yeah, right? And especially for like long distance where you can still have really good guy friends or you can still have really good girlfriends. But I would suggest to not, like, if something's wrong in your relationship, to not, like, go and confide in the opposite sex, because that's when you're emotional, that's when things can happen more, because you're more vulnerable, you're more, like, upset, and you start building, like, a deeper relationship, because you're sharing deeper things with them. So I would definitely suggest to go to a girlfriend, for me, or a guy friend, for Donovan. And even if it's, like, your best friend from ever, like, I have so many of those from living in a small town. Like, I have so many great guy friends that I've known forever. But just to be smart, even though I would literally never see myself ever dating them or anything, like, even when Donovan and I weren't together, it's just to be overcautious, to be smart, and go to one of my many girlfriends that I have, you know?
The next one that we have is a do, and that is to remind each other that it's not forever. So long distance is hopefully usually something that's temporary for a relationship. Remind each other of that. Be like, okay, you know what? It's not going to be forever. We can handle this. And then believe in it. We did a year long distance.
We did. We tell people that we did a year, they're like mind blown. When it's really like, it is hard, but at the end of the day, we had an end goal of getting married. Like, we knew from the beginning that we were going to. It like made it that much easier knowing that it would end, but to definitely remind yourself that, okay, being in this moment where it sucks and like you can't have that person that you love with you, it isn't forever and it will end. So
don't live in the future, but also like be able to remind yourself that long distance is not forever. The next one is another do, and that is to do surprise visits.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Chanel's the queen of this.
I am. I love surprises. Every single time Donovan has come home, I've surprised him.
Every time.
And I don't know how.
So I surprised her the last time I came home.
It's true. He did.
A year ago today.
He did surprise me. I did not think that he was home. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be like a surprise visit. But it kind of also ties into like sending gifts, because that's also like Donovan, when he sent me flowers or when I send him cookies, like that is also a surprise as well. So to go the extra mile when you're in a long distance relationship, I think is super important.
A text message saying I miss you can get kind of old after a while, right?
Yeah.
It becomes a routine thing that you just say.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the biggest benefit I think of long distance relationships is the fact that you just have to talk. You don't get any of those distractions, but you just get to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. And not like going to go do things as a distraction, but we literally were forced to sit and learn absolutely everything about each other in that year.
You can't just like watch TV or
do
like mindless activities.
Exactly, you can't. And so we would just be sitting talking every single day.
For hours.
For hours.
Don't do hours.
Don't do hours. And don't do every single day. But
every single day is okay.
I mean, whatever.
Depends how much you miss each other.
I think it's super funny too because for a lot of people that look at our relationship, I mean, we were together for a year, which was long distance, and then together for another, 3 months?
Oh.
We were together for a year of long distance, 3 months of actually living in the same country, got engaged, 5 months later we were married. A lot of people look at that and say, that's pretty quick. How in the world do you know each other? And like, how do you know it's right? Whatever. When we first even started dating, we kind of just knew that, this was right and it worked. But we also got a lot of time to talk.
Yeah.
Some people say you got to spend no time with them. I was like, are you kidding me? I literally spent a year with them just talking. I didn't get to do anything else. So long distance definitely has its benefits that way. If you take the time to ask legitimate questions and not just stare at each other and go, I miss you.
I miss you.
Oh my gosh, which was half the time of what we did.
It's true.
But anyways, overall, I think our last point is that your do, should do.
What Chanel was trying to say.
No. I was going to say that overall
Yeah.
is to love each other.
Yeah, love each other, and don't be afraid of long distance. So.
I feel like long distance has this
stigma
around it, but it 100% can work.
Yeah.
And it does work. It's just kind of where your mindset is and what you're choosing to choose at the end of the day. Like if you've decided I'm going to choose this person, then long distance, it's going to, it's not the end of the world. It's going to work.
You can do it, guys. So any long distance couples out there watching this, you guys got it. We believe in you. Take these tips, do's and don'ts. Late night chats with Cash and Dash. Signing off. Bye.